Soy milk, as we know it, is a great alternative to dairy. But what you get in the grocery store is really pretty limited in what you can and can't do.
And today on WTF, we're going to look at the various uses of soy milk powder and how you can make everything from milk to mac and cheese. Hello and welcome to WTF, where we transform food here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott Garren.
And I'm Janie Wang, one of the owners of Modernist Pantry. So today on WTF, Scott and I are going to be talking all about soy milk, which I personally love to drink, and we're excited to share with you some new recipes and usages for it. Now, if you haven't watched WTF before, every week we tackle kind of a unique ingredient and/or technique, and we share recipes and techniques to help you get started. So if you do like what you see, remember to ring the bell, subscribe, and make sure that you're going to get notified about our content, which comes out every single Tuesday. So there's always something happening right here in the test kitchen, and we hope that you'll continue to join us. Now, getting started with soy milk powder, it's not one of the most, esoteric and scary sounding ingredients that we've ever covered here on WTF, but we still love it. But why don't we start with, what is soy milk powder compared to what people are getting in stores?
So it's very simple to compare this to milk powder, right? So this you can rehydrate it, you can make soy milk out of it, like a very basic soy milk. You can also take it and replace milk powder wherever you want to in recipes. So if you are dairy free, then you can replace that dairy, milk powder with soy milk powder.
Okay, and how is soy milk powder created? Is there anything added to it, and where are we getting
Nope, this is completely 100% soy milk powder. It's organic. There's nothing else added to it. So it's very simple. It's just dehydrated down into a powder form.
Right. So being that it's pure soy milk, one of the things that we hear from customers when they do try it, they're like, oh, this tastes totally different from, the major commercial brand that I purchased in my local grocery store, and it doesn't taste sweet. Like, what is kind of misconception?
Yeah,
misconception that's happening over here.
So a lot of the commercial soy milk, there's a lot of additives to it. We're actually going to show you a quick recipe on how to turn your soy milk powder, because if you've ever had regular soy milk, just soybeans and water, it's going to be just like soy milk powder mixed into water, because that's what it is. But when we're going to show you how to blend it up with a few other ingredients, and a little bit of sugar and vanilla. And vanilla is that one that's really going to help mask that soy flavor, because when people taste it, they go, oh, it tastes like soy. Well, that's what it is. So of course it's going to taste like that. But vanilla is added to almost every type of commercial soy milk to really kind of mask that flavor and give almost like a sweet essence, so a sweet aroma. That's what vanilla does. So.
Yeah, because soy itself is not a sweet ingredient.
No, it is not.
Yeah, and when I was growing up in China, we only had regular plain soy milk. So it wasn't until we moved to the U.S. when I had commercial soy milk, and I was like, this soy milk is so sweet. It's so weird, but now I love it. So getting back to, I think, maybe some of the benefits of soy milk powder. Why would people care about using soy milk powder?
Soy milk powder, obviously, for different diets, whether it's vegan or you're just dairy-free, you can't, lactose intolerant, you can't have it. So it's really great to take this and you can just add it right in. But whenever we make a lot of vegan things here, you want to get that, almost richness, that added protein, everything that you would get from dairy, but you want to get it in a different source. Soy milk works great for that. We're going to show you 2 recipes today for that.
Yeah, and personally, sometimes I like to just put some into my coffee as a creamer as well, because it makes a great dairy-free alternative creamer.
Yeah, the only thing about that is adding it to hot liquids, it tends to clump. So that's one thing that people have an issue with, is they'll put it in and say, oh, why is it clumping? And it's really good to add it into a little bit of water first, and then you can add it that way. Or if you're just making it with just cold water, like you're making soy milk, it's going to be easy to mix in. But yeah, people do have an issue with, it wants to take on that water because it's dehydrated, but when it gets in that hot water, it almost, just clumps up a little bit. It gets like a little shell around it, and you kind of have to break it up. But we're going to show you really quickly just how easy it is to mix into water.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump into it.
So right here we have about 500 grams of water, about a pint if you're using the standard system. So I'm just going to take it, and I'm just going to sprinkle in the soy milk powder. And it's not going to just, immediately disappear, but after about 10 or so seconds, you'll notice there's almost no clumps
Yeah, there
that
you
you
go.
can see, right? And if there's one or two, you can just press them up against the side, but that's totally fine.
Okay, and how much is it though? Is it 1 tablespoon to?
It's about a tablespoon to a cup, yes.
Okay.
Yep, so with every cup you're going to put a tablespoon of the milk, the soy milk powder, and that's going to give you basically 1 cup of soy milk.
Okay.
You can always increase that, decrease that, depending on your taste, but I prefer this. This is what we find is like traditional soy milk. So if I take this now and I just place it into our blender, you can see no clumps as I pour it in. Mm-hmm. Good sign. Then we have a few other ingredients. So like you said, commercial soy milk is going to be sweet. Mm-hmm. You don't have to add sugar to this, but if you're used to that kind of slightly sweetened, and that's a good way to mimic a dairy milk because there's lactose, and lactose is sweet. But if you want to mimic like a traditional soy milk, you want to add, so per every cup, and this is kind of a look into commercial soy milk, it's 9 grams of sugar. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of sugar for every cup. So I'm going to add in 18 grams because it's about 2 cups. Yeah. And then we have a few thickeners. And commercial soy milk is slightly thickened, one, because this tends to separate out. So when I put this in there, I mix it up by hand, I put it in the refrigerator, it's going to separate out. It's natural that soy wants to kind of sink to the bottom. Mm-hmm. So these 2 thickeners, I have guar gum and xanthan gum, and they're in very, very small amounts, like 0.02% of the total weight. So an extremely small amount of thickeners, and that's just going to kind of help hold up all those bits of soy so you're not taking it out and it's not water on top and soy on the bottom. So this is very simple, and we're actually going to get this going, and then I'll just sprinkle them in as we blend it here.
And we are blending on extremely low speed. I think on one episode someone's like, "You're blending with the lid off. How could you?" We're like, "It's all right. It's all right. We're doing it safely."
So we're going to blend this for about 1.5 minutes here, and then we'll get back to it.
Okay. So, I mean, one of the nice things about this is that you don't need to follow this formula. We'll have this on the blog, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll have it on the blog, and you can edit it in whatever way you really want to. If you like it a little bit thinner, if you don't want those thickeners in it, it's totally fine. Just know you're going to have to shake it every time you drink it.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of one of the beauties of it is that if you're like, I kind of want to tailor it to my specific taste. This kind of gives you a starting point to do that, and you can make it however you want, right? Which is really nice.
Yes. And we're going to show you quickly, so that's about 1 minute, which is fine for now. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to flavor it, you can put vanilla bean in this, you can put vanilla extract. We like to put our vanilla flavor drops as well. It's very simple. It only takes about 5 or 6 flavor drops into this amount of soy milk, and a few more blends, and it's going to permeate through, and it's going to flavor the entire thing like vanilla. And that's our base commercial soy milk that we're making. So I'm just going to give it a quick blend. Great. So now we have vanilla soy milk. I'll pour it right into this glass for you, Janie.
Great. I see you have 2 other cool looking soy milks right here.
Yeah, so we took our strawberry syrup and we added it to some soy milk, and we made strawberry soy milk, and then we had some chocolate syrup, basically just chocolate and sugar, and we added it to our soy milk. So we have 2 different ways to make a really great flavored soy milk. Yeah. Actually 3 different ways if you count the traditional.
Yeah, and this basically took no time at all to do, so easy peasy. I actually prefer this to the commercial stuff because it tastes fresher. It tastes like you just freshly made it.
Yeah, and that's because the dehydrating process on the soy, it's fresh, and then they dehydrate it immediately, and you get a really fresh, soy flavor that's coming from it, and then just a slight hint of that vanilla just to kind of mask the harshness of a soy, because it is intense if you're not used to having any soy.
Yeah, I personally love it. Yeah. And kind of one of the benefits of having a soy milk powder is, you get, if you're using like 1 tablespoon to a cup, like this 8-ounce package here has lots and lots of tablespoons in it. So it's going to be way more than like a quart of commercial soy milk, and you don't have to worry about it going bad. You don't have to worry about like when am I going to use it up. You can just keep it in the pantry for a year 2 years if you want to. You can take it camping, which people have done. You can take it on trips with you. So anywhere you go, if you're like, I just want to have a little bit of that soy, it's easy to transport, it's easy to store. So which we think is like two of the big benefits that it has over like something that you buy in stores.
Yeah, it's basically like a vegan protein powder too. You know, you can add it to anything and it's going to mix right in very easily.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So let's get into our second one here. Now this is adapted from our vegan nacho cheese recipe. We took that, I added a little bit more of the nutritional yeast flakes, which we're going to see, and then I took out some of the pepper and I added in onion powder and garlic powder. We're going to make a vegan mac and cheese using that same kind of creamy sauce. So we're going to make the entire thing here and show you how quick it is. As long as you have cooked pasta, you can make this dish very quickly.
Okay.
So I don't want to get my water too hot because remember the clumping.
Okay.
So I'm going to just take it and I'm just going to sprinkle it in.
So right now the temperature is around like a little under 100. So you're not waiting until that boils to
Oh yeah, this
doing
is,
that.
I'm just getting it in immediately and then once I heat it, it will start to thicken.
Okay.
Then I have my tapioca starch. And we actually made an Instagram video. If you want to check this out in quick form, you can go on the Instagram and see this entire recipe from beginning to end. Right? I got salt. I have some onion powder, and I have some garlic powder, some lactic acid, and then I have my nutritional yeast flakes. So I'll get them out of here. Great. And I have one last thing that I need to add. Actually, I need you to get it, Janie.
Okay,
it's right
sure.
on top of the oven over there. I want to
All
keep
right.
it nice and, so it's the little measuring cup right up on top of the oven.
Dun, dun, dun.
So that is the coconut oil. I didn't want it to
Here you go.
solidify here in the kitchen because it solidifies around room temperature, so I want to keep it warm on top of the oven.
Okay.
So I have coconut oil, which I add right in. And I mix it up. And once I get those nutritional yeast flakes kind of broken up a little bit, which those tend to, with the humidity in the air, they'll tend to clump up a touch. So once those break down, I can switch over to my spatula. Great, so this started to turn my heat up, and you just want it to get it, medium-low heat. And once this starts to heat up, you'll notice it start to thicken. And as it starts to thicken, it's going to pull in that fat, and it's going to make a nice creamy sauce, which then we can add our macaroni to it.
Smells great. It's a lot of aromatics in there.
Yeah, the onion and the garlic really work well with the nutritional yeast flakes to kind of help bring out that cheesiness of the nutritional yeast flakes. So these are the organic nutritional yeast flakes. If you were to use, other store-bought ones, this would have like a really neon yellow, and you can actually check out our nutritional yeast flakes video that we did at WTF on in the comments below, actually in the description below, but you can leave comments too if you want to.
Yes.
So as I heat this up, you notice it start to thicken.
Yeah, it's really coming together nicely.
Yep.
And this, I think, didn't we also do something similar? There was an episode where we did the vegan nacho cheese. Oh, wait, that was the nutritional yeast.
There you go.
There you go. So if you haven't seen that, strongly recommend.
I weave it all in there, Janie.
There you go.
All right, so yep. Just adjusting my heat. As
So
it starts
this
to
is-
come together.
Yeah, it's really coming together. It's only been like a minute or two.
Yeah.
So great, easy to do.
Total of, I have a timer right here, 3.5 minutes so far since I turned it on, and we already have a cheese sauce that we can add.
And you need to kind of do the constant stirring
Yeah,
to make sure it's
So this
coming
is
together.
similar to cheese. If I were to have cheese in here and I was heating it up, it's going to burn to the bottom. But that's with anything that you have that is this thick inside of a hot pan. So I just keep it going, move it around. And I don't want those little bits that aren't thickened to be in there because then you'll just have like a wet spot inside your mac and cheese.
Right.
So as we go, you can see I can kind of paint a line in the middle and I can see the entire bottom of the pan.
Yep.
It's great. So after about 4 minutes or so, as the timer says, I'm going to add in my macaroni. This is egg-free macaroni. and turn the heat way down. Just mix it up. As it mixes, you can see how stringy and great it gets.
Yep. And this is great. So it's just like for anybody who's lactose intolerant, I know people call in looking for dairy alternatives.
Yeah.
So this is a great way to kind of DIY it. And, it's really easy to do.
And there's so many great flavors in this. Who doesn't love onions and garlic, right? So I have a little cast iron pan here. You can take this, you can add this directly into the cast iron pan and then place it in the oven. But look at how creamy that is. It looks cheesy, tastes cheesy.
Yeah. So if you do decide to put it in the oven, it's just to kind of brown it a little bit more.
Yeah, you can brown it on top. You can always shave some of our, vegan cheddar, vegan mozzarella, whatever you want, right on the top, and then you're going to get that nice, kind of crusty top. But I have a different crusty top. If you don't want to use breadcrumbs, which is like really common with mac and cheese, and the only reason I don't like using breadcrumbs is that they don't necessarily have too much flavor. They can have some herbs on them, they can have some butter on them, but if you're making a vegan one, you don't really have that butter. You can put margarine, but I like taking some crispy shallots that we made, and you'll see them in an episode coming up. So nice crispy shallots, which kind of bring out that extra flavor that we added to them with the garlic powder and the onion powder. And Janie, if you want to, dig right in.
Absolutely will. It's so good fresh off the pot.
It's really good, and you wouldn't really know. So we took this dish, we brought it out to our warehouse, where they love mac and cheese. I made mac and cheese a bunch of times for them for family meal and whatnot. And I brought this out, and I just laid it down and put out some forks. And everyone came up, and it was gone. I had to text Janie and say, come down and try it before everyone eats it all. And it was almost gone within like 10 minutes. And they didn't even know. They didn't even ask. And you won't really know because it's that creamy, cheesy flavor that you look for in mac and cheese. The texture is really what we want, that hardiness, that comfort food. And that's what this gives you.
Yeah, it's great going into fall here and starting to get chilly. So it's nice to have that kind of textured, like gooiness in your belly.
Yeah, just that nice hearty comfort food.
Yeah, so hopefully what we've shown you today is, this is a really cool, like versatile ingredient. I mean, it's soy milk, it's easy to use, it's easy to understand how to do it. You can make your own variety of different milks with it. You can make a mac and cheese, you can make a nacho cheese.
Yep.
And we might have a couple other recipes up on the blog as well.
We have a ton of recipes that already use this, something even to our vegan flan that we made, which is a really great recipe. So that uses this, but just go on. If you just type in soy milk, or if you go in the links in the description below, we'll put all of them in there for everyone, every recipe that has soy milk. So if you want to, you can go find all those, but you can always check out our blog. We have all the recipes there. Tons of recipes for soy milk because it's that versatile. Yep.
And if you haven't already, follow us at Modernist Pantry on Instagram and Facebook, and you can see Scott kind of making this in a full video with all the different components in it as well. So enjoy it. If you love it, if you do something with it, please let us know. Put your comments in the description below. Email in, send us pictures. We love seeing all that stuff. And from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie Wang.
And I'm Scott Guerin. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. And turn that bell on because it notifies you when we drop a new video.
If you like any of today's recipes, go to blog.modernistpantry.com. There you'll find recipes, Ask a Chefs, and tips and tricks, and more.
If you have a friend who you think would like this video, share it with them.
To get any of these great ingredients, just go to our website, www.modernistpantry.com.
And until next time, we'll be here in the Test Kitchen, helping you create memorable and magical experiences.